friends and gamers. Welcome back to the Fortress. And yes, it is good to have you guys back. I appreciate you viewers. I appreciate your comments, and I like having you guys watching and observing this game and giving us feedback and advice and that kind of thing. Thank you all for participating in this. It makes it a lot more fun if we have if it makes it worth the effort, because this is a lot of effort. I just spent, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours updating my map for the other players' stuff and updating it with my plans. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but making it for you guys makes this game more worth it. If it was just me and the other two fellows doing it with no one else watching, I don't even know if I would have. I mean, I might have just for the love of the game, but I appreciate having you guys around. So thank you. Thank you all for participating. So it is January 1940, and it is turn number 8. So it's been an interesting turn for Great Britain and the Commonwealth. We are doing the Commonwealth turn, and we'll tag on the French turn at the very end as well. German U-boats are flooding into the Atlantic. Last turn they sunk 15 IPPs worth of income, and this past German turn they sunk 16 worth of income. So Britain finds itself losing. Last turn it lost its entire income, and this turn it's lost half its income to the submarine menace. So we hope to take down a few submarines this turn. Germany's builds have been primarily anti-Allied builds. They've been building a strategic bomber. They've placed 3 submarines on the map, and they build a fortified line in Paris, which means that they are kind of doing some moves that are suspicious about very anti-Allied kind of moves, not the classic historical kind of setup. The Russians are also doing an ahistorical kind of build. They built 3 naval transports, and they built 2 marines, as well as maneuvered themselves in a position where they could load up all those 3 transports to do some serious damage against whoever they chose, whether that be the Germans or the Scandinavian nations, or perhaps going as far as England. So that's going to be very interesting to see what they do. And we should see that next turn, I expect. There'll be some action if they intend to go after the Allies, or perhaps if they're going against the Axis, then that will be interesting as well. Romania was annexed, and so they have now German, which means that a USSR got an additional D12 roll to increase their income. So they are at wartime income. On this side, we see some intense pressure going against the Japanese, as well as going against the KMT, with stacks of troops over here going against the KMT. The Japanese have gone to war finally against a major power, against the Allies, as well as the Comintern, by attacking Hainan and the CCP. Now, it's not strictly speaking what I say. It's like CCP is part of the Comintern, played by the Comintern, but it's not necessarily allied in that sense to the USSR. Like, they are allied, but USSR is still at peace. And the KMT, well, they're now at war with a major power, another major power, 2 major powers at this point. So we shall see if they hold out. But enough of a recap. Let's dive right into the game. All right. So the British Treasury, the British Commonwealth's Treasury. So we have $11 to spend as the British. Now, there was a little bit of confusion on my part because it says 25 here, but then we have to remember to deduct 5 from the Canadians. But then we have to remember that even though it says version 3, this is all still version 2 rolls, like apart from their build stuff. It's all version 2 rolls. The value of Canadian territory is actually $6, so you reduce this by 6. So that's why I wouldn't play the Canada expansion up until it's fixed. It has a few issues. So that's 25 minus 6 for here, plus the 4 we got from Iraq and southern Iran, minus the 16 we lost from convoy raiding, leaves us with only $11 to spend. With that, we're getting 1 light cruiser, 1 light carrier, and infantry. The Far East Command has $16 to spend. They're saving $1, and they're getting 3 militia, a fortified line, and an anti-aircraft. Anzac's got $12 to spend, so they're getting KMT, they're leasing to the KMT a fighter. They're building a militia as well. And Canada has $9 to spend. But we've promised the USSR that we're going to pay them back for their lend-lease that they sent to Paris, as well as Ethiopia. So we said we'll send them a minimum of $3 a turn until it's paid off. So here's $3 per turn. Whether or not the USSR needs it this turn, it's tough to say. They seem quite strong. They have the CCP assisting them. But nonetheless, I feel we need to carry through with our word and pay back what we said we would owe them. I think there's merit, even though there's no stipulations in the game that you have to keep your word, I think it's well worth it. Well worth sticking by it to build a good reputation. Okay, so let's roll for our tech. So first of all, the wartime economy for the London factory. 7, success. And now we need the anti-submarine warfare. 7 as well, right on the borderline. So that moves us to stage 3 wartime economy and stage 4 anti-submarine warfare. So anti-submarine warfare is complete. So very lucky rolls, very borderline. We almost lost them both, but we did get them both at the end of the day. So good luck on us, good luck on us. Okay, let's dive into the board and start with our movements. Our combat. So I took the liberty of already setting ourselves up for combat movements, and I'll explain where everything came from. So from southern Iran, we said we walk north 1 infantry to northern Iran, and so that's simply going to be taking over that area. It's a walk-on. Into Azerbaijan, we're walking 1 additional 1 infantry from southern Iran and 1 from Iraq. This airborne is coming from Iraq. This medium bomber is flying in from Transjordan. Now Transjordan is, so it's got 3 movements left. 1, 2, 3. This strategic bomber is attacking Syria in 1 combat, like a preliminary combat, and it came from Egypt, so it's got 4 moves left. The medium bomber is going to be landing in Egypt. This strategic bomber is going to be landing in Gibraltar. The tactical bomber came from here in Transjordan, so it's got 3 moves left and is attacking with this infantry and this Canadian specialized infantry from Transjordan as well. So they're both attacking. There should be a German infantry. Here he is. Okay. That is our 2 attacks on this side. Now we're making 1 attack here. This fighter and this fighter came from Gibraltar, so it's got a move of 1 because it was on maritime air patrol. And this destroyer came from Sea Zone 49. Over here, we have a similar attack. We have 1 destroyer is coming up from the north to Sea Zone 48, and the Canadian fighter is coming from Sea Zone 32 as well. So they're both going to Sea Zone 48 to attack that submarine. Here, in Sea Zone 24, the western approaches. I need to find a parking spot for my easel. So in Sea Zone 24, we have 2 destroyers coming from the Sea Zone 25 and 2 aircraft coming from British Midlands. So they only have a movement left of 1. Now, there is 2 more attacks happening, and they are here. And they're kind of tricky ones. These ones here, so they are the only, I spoke with Panzer King, and the only time he's submerging his aircraft is in this circumstance where, submerging his submarines. He's submerging all of his submarines from attack except for this battle here. Now this Polish fighter is coming from Sea Zone 25. It is not on maritime air patrol. It is simply coming into here. It has 3 moves left. This fighter is coming from British Midlands. So it has a boost of 5 from this position, and so it's got 4 moves left. This torpedo boat destroyer is joining this fight from Sea Zone 25. And that's it. So we're going to start rolling for everything. And I want to make sure I'm definitely on the camera. There we go. So, the submarine is going to be rolling at a 3. The destroyer's at a 4. The aircraft's at a 6, and the torpedo boat destroyer is at a 2. So we roll for the submarine first. I think this is, yeah, now we're all on screen. So a success at a 3 or less. Oh, you saw that. Almost hit everything else, but but it misses. Okay, now we go for our aircraft and our torpedo boat destroyer. Miss, miss. Lastly, we have the destroyer. Miss. Okay, round 1 misses for the most part. So now we go, oh, well, everybody missed on the round 1. So here's the submarine again. 5. Okay. And now here we have our side of things. So we have 1 hit. And the destroyer. 8. So we miss. Or, sorry, we made 1 hit as the aircraft, and so we take off their submarine. Now, I asked Panzer King what he wants to remove first, and he said the submarine. Because the submarine can't hit aircraft, he did not want to risk being left with only attacking the aircraft. So here we have our attack on round, what is it, 4 now? 3? 3. The success from the fighter, and the destroyer gets to roll a 5, so he ends up missing on all rounds of combat. Okay, that is that fight. Now, next fight coming up is slightly on camera, it's this position here. In Sea Zone 11, 1 fighter and 1 torpedo boat destroyer. And the aircraft's rolling at a 6. So let's roll for round 1. Miss, miss. Round 2. Hit from the fighter, and the torpedo boat destroyer happens to miss. So there's that. I'm going to take away the casualties now, just in case I forget. There we go. Okay, now we move on to the next battle. So I'm going to forget about that chart, because now we're going to be moving all over the board now. So we're coming to the western approaches, into that Sea Zone 24. So in Sea Zone 24, we're going to be doing, it's all purely, so he's submerging his submarines. So it's 2 fighters and 2 destroyers against his, his submarines aren't rising to the surface. So red stands for the aircraft and the destroyers are black. So we got we got 2 hits, but we only needed 1. So that's gone. Next up we have this Sea Zone here. So, oopsie daisy. So that Sea Zone, we're going 1 red dice for fighter and 1 black dice for destroyer. And his submarine, he says, is submerging. So here we go. 1 hit from the aircraft, so that submarine is out of the picture. Next we have this occasion here, and we really hope this one succeeds. So we have the same dice rolls, destroyer and a fighter. So red is for fighter, black is for destroyer. A success. So that one was borderline, but we succeeded in that one. Okay. So far, 3 subs taken off with no casualties on our side. So very good so far. Let's see if our luck holds for these battles on this side. Okay, so we are going to do Iraq next. Now, Iraq, like I said before, is a little bit different because we are actually rolling for 2 combats in Iraq. The carpet bombing is going to be 3 dice at 2. And I'm going to roll my red dice for that. Staying with that theme of red will always be for aircraft. So here's 3 dice at 2. And 1 success. And so we take off one of their units. Boom. Man, we've had pretty good luck so far. My goodness, we haven't lost a single unit thus far. And this is where our luck may change. We're going for 1 medium bomber, which will be red, and then 2 black dice rolling at 1. And then for defense, he's got 1 dice at 4. So the 2 blacks represent my infantry type, and the red is aircraft, and his white is, he's the white one. Nothing on round 1, round 2. So my medium bomber is hitting at 7. That's a 12, so that's a miss. Everything's in the camera, so yeah, everything missed. So round 3. 1 hit, 2 hits. So on this, we take that one out. Okay, so really good luck. Yeah, fantastic luck. I mean, the odds were always in our favor with all this stuff. We had better rolls and most of his stuff submerged, so yeah, we ended up winning. So that means the British income goes up by $1 for Azerbaijan. And then the Free French goes up by $1 here as well. Fantastic. So I'm going to quickly adjust the charts and bump us up to 2 so I don't forget. And so the British income is now at 25. 25. And while I'm here, I'm going to move, I already moved wartime and copper. Okay, great. Now we need to do the non-combat movements. So we'll start on this side with this coastal sub, the CSS, is coming to here, to Sea Zone 65 from 55. This Anzac submarine can move 4 from this base. 1, 2, 3, 4, coming to Sea Zone 59. That's where they go. Now down here is our next position that we're going to move. And over here we're going to move this anti-aircraft. I think just the anti-aircraft. Yeah, we'll just move 1 anti-aircraft. It's coming here and depositing this guy in Malaya. I'm going to leave this as a blank chip for now because that's actually where we're going to be placing an anti-aircraft. Next up, we have this transport in this Sea Zone 84. It's going to go strategic naval move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Park it in that Sea Zone. Now, additionally, we're going to move this transport. It's going to load up 2 infantry and go 1, 2 to this position. And it's going to drop them off in Gibraltar. So those infantry picked up in Transjordan are going to Gibraltar. Now, while we're here, we're going to finish our non-combat on this side. This medium bomber has 3 movements left, so 1, 2, 3, lands in Egypt. This strategic bomber has a movement range of 4, so I'm going to grab that one and this tactical bomber, and they're going to go 3 spaces to Gibraltar. So 1, 2, 3. And they can easily make it there. Okay, this transport here, air transport, is picking up 1 infantry and flying him to Gibraltar. So again, 1, 2, 3 to Gibraltar. And this transport, Canadian one, comes here, picks up this last infantry, and goes 1, 2. So it just goes to this sea zone right here. And it can do that, it's not huge. And drops them off in Gibraltar. So now, in Gibraltar, we have a total of 4 infantry. Yeah, 4 infantry. And, yeah, 4 infantry. Okay, now in here, we're going to move. So in Sea Zone 49, we have our fleet. Most of that fleet is going to come to this position. Not all of it. There's going to be 1, 2 units left behind. But they have a special movement of their own that they're going to go somewhere. So those guys are, yeah. So I'm going to move this fleet to join this on this task force marker. This fighter is returning to Gibraltar, and now a fighter that was here in Gibraltar is going to be moving out of that position. Before we go to that fighter, though, let's finish moving this transport. So this transport and this submarine are going to come, well, the transport's going to go 1, let me move the camera, 1, 2 to this position in Sea Zone 105. This submarine's coming here as well, but it's going north to this position in 48. All right. Okay, let us finish up with what we're going on here. This is going to be a little bit more crazy, I should say. So these 2 ships are coming here, the coastal defense ship and the light carrier, coming to this position here. So we have the Canadian fighter is landing on board here. So I have a light carrier, coastal defense, submarine, transport, destroyer. That's what's all in that area. Now, these ones here are going to do something else. Okay, so I haven't fully formed this in my head, that's why I'm hesitating here. Okay, these ships, they come through here. The heavy cruiser as well. They come through Sea Zone 24 to there. The destroyer goes up north. And what else? No, I think we're going to leave 1 heavy cruiser back here, and this destroyer is going to come up to here. Yeah, that's what we'll do. That's what we shall do. And this has a maritime patrol range left over of 1, so it comes over here. And this one is going to stay there. Okay, that's going to stay right in that position. Now, here is a little bit of a surprise. I mean, when I counted this out, it surprised me. So this aircraft here, it had a movement of 5. So it's coming from this position here in British Midlands, and so it goes here. And now it's coming, so 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to land here in Labrador. And it would still have 1 more move if I wanted to, but I don't. I want it to end its movement here. So is that on camera? It is. All right. Fantastic. Okay, lastly, we have the Polish fighter here. It's going to land in British Midlands. Of course, its torpedo boat destroyer is staying there. I remove these tokens off the board. And Admiral Radar will slip away over there. Okay, so that is it for non-combat. I think across the board that covers everything. So now it goes to place unit phase. Yeah, it goes to place unit phase. So I'm placing 2 ships here. You can't quite see it. So that light cruiser gets placed there, as well as this light carrier gets placed there. And that's what this is landing on. It's landing on that light carrier. We're also placing one infantry here. And I guess I forgot to move a few units in England. So what I want to do is I want to move this from northern England. Well, no, I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to move this militia and rail him all the way down to here. I'm a little bit fearful of those Soviets, you know. They're not looking, well, they're looking a little scary. With their, and I know I can't predict everything, but with 3 transports, if they wanted to, not that they would, but you know, Hilltop's a new player. He may not realize the dangers of the Axis powers, but we'll just put them there just for safety's sake. So that's what that looks like. And now we move on to the FEC and what they do. So we'll zoom over here. As you saw before, well, I already stated what we're going to do before, but we're building a fortified line in Calcutta, so we don't have to worry about this section of the globe, hopefully ever again. So I'm going to put this down here, and it protects from all sides. And this anti-aircraft gets purchased there, and then I have 3 militia to place on the board. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 1, 2, and where's the last one going to be put? Yeah, 1, 2, and maybe I'll place him in Burma, just to be a little... No, you know what? Let's just place him in Calcutta. We can always change up our purchases later on if need be, but he goes in Calcutta for now. All right. We're going to grab our next stuff, which would be the Anzac. So the Anzac is pretty basic stuff. They were only building 1 militia in Sydney itself. And then they're lend-leasing to the KMT-1 fighter. So it shows up there. They now have 2 fighters in KMT territory. And then we have the Canadians. And so I'll zoom us back to the European side of the map, because the Canadians have 2 purchases and their lend-lease of money. So the money is going to make a fairly simple way all around to the Kola up north in Archangel, so they aren't intercepted any which way, so that's fantastic. Now, the more tricky part of that is the Netherlands. So I'm headed for the Netherlands. So that's this unit here is coming from that factory. Now, surprise, surprise, it's actually equidistant to go across these 3 zones, 1, 2, 3. It's equidistant if we go 1, 2, 3, and then south. So that's, it says I can choose which way is the shortest, and so in this case, this guy's, they're both equally short, so I'm going to go the northern route around Scotland to see zone 25 into Holland. So it's counterintuitive. You'd expect it to go this way through the western approaches, but nope, it does not. Now, we're also, like I said, lend-leasing $3 to Russia. I'll throw cash money over there. And lastly, we are down here. This is a bit messy because my easel is always in the way. Always in the way. So this is what it looks like. I'm glad things aren't more busy down here. So we're simply placing 1 infantry there. And it can get there easily without being intercepted from Canada. Oh, 1 more non-combat. So the last non-combat is this Canadian Corvette. I forgot about him, and I understand. My opponents are fairly understanding. So he has a movement of 3 from that position. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 to this position here. And hopefully that's sufficiently intimidating to our beloved opponents. We shall see, though, how they do. We shall see. All right. I think we got a good hold on the submarines now. There's only 4 left in the Atlantic, but each one of them is in a position where we can attack them, and they actually can't get past this position here. I have a destroyer, a submarine, a coastal defense ship, and a light carrier plus aircraft on board. This is a Portuguese ship. They can't go through this area without stopping here by that fighter. So that is something that will really help me out in the future. Okay, let's go into our collect income side of things. And now I have that all set out here as well. I'll just take this all off the board. And they only had $1 left over, so we are collecting... Oh, maybe I don't have it all. figured out. Yes, I do. So there's 25. I have 25 now. Plus I'm getting, I'm collecting 25, but plus 5 from my bonuses. So that's what that is. The FEC is collecting 16, 17 from what they had banked. And Anzac is collecting $9, and Canada is collecting $7. So that's where we sit with all of that. Stay tuned for the French turn, which will be very brief. But before we do that, let's do the Netherlands. Now, that was actually one of the things I was debating about with the Netherlands, was if I even play them now. Because since Japan is at war with another major power, namely the CCP, I was wondering if the CCP take over playing them. But even though the rules aren't very clear in this regards, it's what they say by omission makes up for what they don't say. So it looks like the Allies control all neutral minors that the Axis declare war on, apart from Mongolia and the Republic in Spain. So all they do is roll for their non-combat movement. Sorry, for their recruitment, I should say. But they're going to do one non-combat move as well. They're going to be moving... What are they going to be moving? Yeah, they're going to be moving their fleet. From this position, they're going to come to this position here. That way, if the Germans do declare war on the Netherlands, we're in a position where we can react to that in some way. Okie dokes. So, oops, one more mistake. Sorry, this is a bit of a backtrack. Okay, so you know how I moved one of these aircraft non-combat, it had movement left over of 1, so I moved them here. I don't do that. It goes back to England. It's this one here in Gibraltar. It hasn't moved yet. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the one that lands there. So that's what I want to correct. Sorry about that. Hopefully that doesn't mess anybody else up. Okay, so I'm going to roll for the recruitment roll for the Netherlands. So they need a 3 or less. Look at that. Look at that, people. Okay, so that's good news. 3 or less, that's only a 25% chance, and I've hit it. I've got a lot of luck this turn. It is makes me uneasy when I have luck like this, because the dice are fickle things, and if I get luck now, it just as easily can go completely the opposite way later on down the track. So that makes me very nervous indeed. So I'm adding 2 militia into the Holland, which, yeah, so now let me tell you what they all got there. They got 1, 2, should have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 militia, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 infantry. So they are a profoundly good force at this point. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. I mean, part of me is saying this shouldn't survive because it holds off the Germans from attacking eastwards. So makes me nervous about that. Yeah, I mean, it is a good thing, but at the same time, it means that we won't see a classic turn. Okay, so yeah, lots of good luck this turn. Almost too much good luck this turn. Almost too much. So 1, 2, yeah, alright. Okay, that concludes that. So stay tuned for the French turn, and like I said, to be very brief. In fact, let's just tag it to this so we have one long video. Again, I need to recorrect all my moves here since my easel pushed things around. There we go. So this cavalry is here. I only have, as the French, I have $1 to spend. You can't do anything with $1, so I'm going to continue on from there. So this cavalry is going to move into here. Now, question for the masses, can I go all the way down to here? I don't think so, because that's a blitz, because I'm taking 2 territories. So I think that's as far as I can go. And as for the French on this side, they've got a non-combat move onto the ship. And then lastly, we have these ships here. Now these ships here are going to keep fairly normal. They're not going to do anything too crazy because we have to be aware of the German submarine in Sea Zone 115 over there. So we have to stay somewhat out of their range. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to go into Sea Zone 82. 1, 2, 3, yeah, Sea Zone 82, that's what we're going to go to. Because Free France is at war with everything that they were at war with before the war started. So there's that. And lastly, they have 2 units over here. So So these two units, one of them is going to go 1, 2, 3 to this position in 124. And I think this other one's going to do the same, 124. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're going to both go to C-zone 124. Right on. That is it, people. So that's the French, the Netherlands, and the British in their entirety. So the French collect $2 this turn, which brings them up to $3 for the following round. They get $2 because Syria went over to the French. So we're going to give them a total of 3, and that is, they'll have 3 in the bank. And that is it for the French turn. So thank you all for watching. For the next player, check out Panzer Kings. It'll be 8.5. All right. Cheers, everyone.